माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय माधवा जय हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण सब पुकारिए हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे राम श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की श्री निताई गौरांग भगवान की श्री श्री यशोदा दामोदर की श्रील प्रभुपाद की समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। read in English only. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Canto 10, chapter 87, text number 17, the prayers of the personified Vedas. Someone knows its meter? Huh? Chant once, then I'll catch. Ya eva shvasansa. Mahadaham adayondam asajanyad anugraha
Purusha vidonvayatra charamannamaya yaha
Purusha vidonvaintra charamo annamaya yaha
Sadasat paramatvam athayat eshu avashesharita
Sadasat param tvam atayant eshu. I think we will not. Even for me to catch this will take some time. So I will read, because the purport is also 3 pages. Right? So these are really deep prayers of the personified Vedas. Right? Ritayaha bellows. Iva as if. Shvasanti they breathe. Asubrata alive. Yadi if. Te your. Anuvida faithful followers. Mahat the total material energy. Aham false ego. Adaya and the other elements of creation. Andam the universal egg. Asrijan produced. Yat whose. Anugrahata by the mercy. Purusha of the living entity. Vedaha according to the particular forms. Anvaya whose entrance. Atra among these. Charama the ultimate. Annamaya adishu among the manifestations known as Annamaya, and so on. Yaha who. Sat asataha from gross and subtle matter. Param distinct. Tvam you. Ata and furthermore. Yat which. Eshu among these. Avashesham underlying. Ritam the reality. Huh? It's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is about 7 pages. So I will read some part of it and then explain, and then we will go further. Right? When I was scrolling, it looked small. But it is quite a lot. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvashe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Neelachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannathaya Te Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam. Hare Krishna. So first of all I would like to seek blessings and prayers of all the devotees so that we can speak on this subject matter. I will speak in English and a little bit in Hindi because the subject matter I am also trying to properly understand and repeat it. So with all your prayers, Hare Krishna. Translation. Only if they become your faithful followers are those who breathe actually live. Otherwise their breathing is like that of a bellows. It is by your mercy alone that the elements beginning with the Mahat Tattva and false ego created the egg of this universe. Among the manifestations known as Annamaya and so forth, you are the ultimate one entering within the material coverings along with the living entity and assuming the same forms as those he takes. Distinct from the gross and subtle material manifestation, you are the reality underlying them all. Purport. Life is without purpose for one who remains ignorant of his most well-wishing benefactor and thus fails to worship him. Such a person's breathing is no better than the breathing of a blacksmith's bellows. The gift of human life is a fortunate opportunity for the conditioned soul, but by turning away from his Lord, the living being commits spiritual suicide. In the words of Sri Ishopanishad, Asurya nama te loka andhena tamasavrita tamste pretya bigachanti yeke chatma hanojana. The killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. Asurya means to be obtained by demons, and demons are persons who have no devotion for the Supreme Lord Vishnu. This definition is stated in the Agni Puran. Dvau bhuta sargau lokesmin daiva asura evacha Vishnu bhakti paro daiva asuras tad viparyayaha. There are two kinds of created beings in this world, godly and demoniac. Those dedicated to the devotional service of Lord Vishnu are godly, and those opposed to such service are demoniac. Similarly, the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad states, Nached avidin mahati vinasti yetad vidur amrataste bhavanti atetare dukham evopayanti. If one does not come to know the Supreme, he must suffer utter destruction. Those who realize the Supreme become immortal, but others inevitably suffer. A person must revive his Krishna consciousness to be relieved of the suffering caused by ignorance. But the process by which this is done need not be difficult, as Lord assures us in Bhagavad Gita 9.34. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mami vaishyasi yuktvaibam atmanam madparayana. Engage your mind in always thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Despite disqualifications and weaknesses, one need only willingly become Anuvida, the Supreme Lord's trusting and trustworthy servant. The Kathopanishad proclaims, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadhati Kaman Tam Pita Gamye Anupashyanti Dhiras Tesham Shanti Shashwati Nitaresham. Among all the eternal conscious beings, there is one who supplies the needs of everyone else. The wise souls who worship him in his abode attain everlasting peace. Others cannot. What is alive and what is dead? The bodies and minds of materialistic non-devotees seem to display the symptoms of life, but this appearance is deceptive. Actually, the conditioned soul has little control over his own bodily existence. Against his will, he has to excrete waste, get sick from time to time, and eventually age and die. And in his mind, he unwillingly suffers anger, hankering, and lamentation. Lord Krishna describes this situation as Yantra Rudhani Mayaya, 18.61 Bhagavad Gita, riding helplessly as a passenger in a mechanical vehicle. The soul undoubtedly is alive and irrevocably so, but in his ignorance, that inner life is covered and forgotten. In its place, the automaton of the external mind and body carries out the dictates of the modes of nature, which force one to act in a way altogether irrelevant to the dormant needs of the soul. Calling out to the forgetful prisoners of illusion, the Shvetashvatara Upanishad urges, Shunvantu Vishve Amritasya Putra Ayed Hamani Devyani Tastu. All you sons of immortality, hear, you who once resided in the divine kingdom. So we will not read further, we will discuss it, and there are more themes that are explained in the further aspect. Hare Krishna. So the prayers of the personified Vedas, I remember in my attempt when I was reading Krishna book, the first time I read Krishna book, when I came to the chapter prayers by the personified Vedas, I could not complete it. Right? Because it was so philosophical and so intense that it took me effort. So here, the prayers of the personified Vedas is actually bringing us to the conclusion of Krishna. Here if you see, it says, life is without purpose if one remains ignorant of his most well-wishing benefactor and thus fails to worship him. So the Shastras are explaining that if we do not recognize Krishna in our life and do not perform devotional service or worship him, then our life is only a waste of time. It is just like the breathing of the bellows in a blacksmith's shop. He said it's all like that. And something similar you will find when Shukadeva Goswami introduces to Parikshit Maharaj, and then Shaunakadi Rishi is speaking to Sutta Goswami that please narrate to us the conversation between Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. Please narrate to us. Because those people who do not participate in these topics of hearing and chanting Srimad Bhagavatam, they are just uselessly wasting their lives. And he begins to qualify the people in this material world. He says, Ayurharati vaipumsam udyanastam cha yanasau tasyarte yachanonita uttama shloka varthaya. Both by rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone. Now this is very interesting. Shaunakadi Rishi say that every day the sun rises and the sun sets, and it makes everyone lose one day from his life. But those who utilize their time by discussing the topics of the all-good personality of Godhead, that does not happen. Right? For them what happens? They are moving towards death? No, they are moving towards Amritam. Prabhupada gives the example, just like a cat. When it catches a rat in its mouth, it is death personified. But when the cat catches its own young one, it is love personified. So similarly, those who always engage in hearing, chanting, and engaging in devotional service to the Lord, they are exactly like the cat holding its young one. The Supreme Lord is very carefully protecting, nourishing, and taking care of the devotees. And he says, I will safely bring them back to Godhead. Tesham aham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami na chirat partha maya veshta chestita. One whose chetana is always in me, he says, I will immediately take him from this ocean of material existence. Na chirat. Na chirat means very quickly. Right? So Shaunakadi Rishi is saying only the devotees, they are not affected by time. And then Shaunakadi Rishi says, do the trees not live? Do the bellows of the blacksmith not breathe? All around us, do the bees not eat and discharge semen? So he's saying that everyone in this world is interested in living, interested in just conducting his activities, Annamaya, Pranamaya Kosh, and eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. This is the philosophy of everybody in this world. Prabhupada explains that everybody has three inherent, callings in his life. Three inherent deep callings. The first calling is Annamaya Kosh. How can I nourish my need of the senses and the mind? Everybody is anxious about economic development, because economic development leads to satisfying the needs of mind and senses. That is the first need of every jiva, Annamaya. And then when he grows a little bit, so he says usually children or animals, but actually Prabhupada says in the animalistic kingdom today, almost everyone. They are only worried about economic development. Look at every person in the world, they are only talking about taka, how to make taka, so that it will satisfy my mind and senses. That's all it's it. And then when you grow up, then you worry about your protection. Okay, I have got so much, how do I protect my position? How do I protect me and my family, protect my wealth? So how do I interact with others in this world and keep myself protected? This is Pranamaya stage. There is always fear of attack, how to be protected. And the third is Manomaya stage, which means philosophy of life. And this is very interesting, that actually everybody in this world needs a philosophy. Without philosophy, Annamaya and Pranamaya will not be defined properly. Right? Everybody needs what is a viewpoint towards the world or towards life. That is called Manomaya stage. Manomaya need. So these three aspects everyone needs. First one, self-development. Second one, interaction with other entities. And third, my philosophy of life. And usually the philosophy of life directs my self-development and my interaction with other living entities. Right? Everybody has a philosophy. There is no one in this world who doesn't have a philosophy. Right? Actually, we do not question that philosophy that is underlying so deep within our conscience in this world. And that is why Prabhupada wanted to educate people and give them the right philosophy. Because once they get Vigyan, then all the other three aspects of Manomaya, Pranamaya and Annamaya will be set. Otherwise, it is very difficult. You just keep supplying the necessities of the needy. It is not going to change. Like, everyone has this philosophy, most of them have philosophy that there is no life after death. It's very clear. They may be worshipping devatas or worshipping so many, but if you ask a question, you meet any Hindu gentleman in this country and ask him, "To mrityu ke baad kya hota hai?" And immediately they will be stunned in ecstasy. They said, "Oh no, I think it all finishes." Even all of us, before becoming devotees, we would have been thinking that death means everything comes to a standstill. Everything becomes like soil or air or stool of an animal. Right? That's all death about. Because when you cremate someone, the insects will eat you and pass stool. That's all. So that becomes our existence. So that's all. So if my philosophy of life is death is the full stop, then what should be my life's purpose? The people will say, to live life king-like. I need to enjoy my senses to the fullest because anyway, bhasmi bhutasya dehasya. This is not new philosophy. This is Charvak. Prabhupada says all the philosophies of the modern age are already there in the, Munis. They already have all the atheistic philosophies also. They are only followers or descendants of that philosophy. So everybody thinks everything is shunya. So because everything is shunya, I should just work for maintaining my body and protecting myself, and till the time I fall dead, how much could I really enjoy and how much could I really defend is the calculation. So everybody defines success in that particular way, and everyone is working hard. And there are corollary philosophies. In between they will say, karma hi puja hai. हाँ? तो प्रभुपाद जी कहते थे, अगर कर्म ही पूजा है, तो गधा सबसे बड़ा उपासक है. Because he keeps working so much. Right? Now, where did this philosophy come from? That means if I just work hard for my livelihood, that means I am doing the best worship. I don't need to do any worship. Right? People have philosophy, if I just take care of myself and my family, and we don't do bad to others, that's all is life. Right? So like this, everybody has a Manomaya philosophy based on the premise that everything ultimately is Shunya. Right? Or if a person becomes frustrated and starts working towards Jnana, see, when you interact with this world and your senses get, satisfied, then you become excited. And the moment the same relationships give you heat, you want to run away from them. Like your senses give you heat, you want to run away from its demands. If the people give you heat, you want to run away from those relationships. Yes or no? So that is like moving towards jnana or renunciation. Then the philosophy they have in the life is, aham brahmasmi. I will merge one in the Supreme. That is transcendental peace. That is transcendental shanti. All my frustrations are because of these borrowed designations and positions. But actually, I am not this, I am that. So, the Nirvishesh. So, Prabhupada mentions that actually the whole world is covered by Shunyavad and Nirvisheshvad. That is the philosophy of life. Everybody has this. This is the basis of everyone's life, which actually nobody questions, because we have already assumed it to be true. Like for devotees, does anyone have to convince that God exists? It's clear. If somebody says it doesn't exist, then we feel that, there should be, like Prabhupada says, cow dung in his brain. How he cannot understand? He is able to talk to me because someone is giving him Shakti. How is he saying that he has borrowed all his strength and he is doing it on his own? He is just talking nonsense. So, this undebated philosophy of life, that everything at death is zero, or in renunciation, everything is one. I become that. These are the two tendencies on which the whole materialism is based. That means if you can defeat these two philosophies, everybody will become a Hare Krishna. Right? Everybody can become a devotee. Right? If they just understand that death is not a full stop, if they just understand that it is not about merging in the Supreme, it's about having a loving relationship with the Supreme Personality. Jai Shri Nitai Gauranga Bhagwan ki, Shri Yashoda Damar Udar ki, Shri Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna. So if these two philosophies can be defeated, that we are actually not going to die. Why we will not die? Because we are spirit souls. We are nitya, shashvatoyam purano, na hanyate hanyamane sharire. So this is Vijnanamaya stage. When you come to an understanding that I don't die, and I am not this body, and I am soul, then it's actually you come to Vijnan. And when you understand that ultimately I don't become one with the Supreme, but there is a relationship I have with the Supreme Personality of loving exchanges. So that is Anandamaya stage. Right? And he says the Jiva actually is supposed to relish on these stages. And that's what should be his aspiration. But not knowing this, with the wrong premise of philosophies in this whole world, everybody is stooped into economic development and protecting their economy. Wars, that's all. That is the subject matter of everyone. So now, having understood it, we understand Srila Prabhupada's contribution. Namaste Saraswati Deve, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi, Paschatya Deshatarine. So when we are studying Srila Prabhupada's books, Prabhupada is puncturing or shaking our realizations of being in this world. And when these realizations are shaken, we can very easily come to Krishna consciousness. Right? So this is the first aspect we can offer as a gratitude to Srila Prabhupada, who is the perfect representative of the personified Vedas, who is helping us understand that life without Krishna consciousness is only a waste of time. And here we are reading, it is said, it is not a waste of time, it is committing suicide. So now, if we talk about suicide, what is meant by suicide? One may say Atmahatya, right? Killing oneself. So he said, if you live without practicing Krishna consciousness, we are killing ourselves. Right? So it is said, I think Chanakya says about Visha and Vishaya. He says Vishaya should be rejected like Visha. What is wish? Desires. Wish is poison. Actually, Prabhupada in one of the lectures says, this desire for pleasure is actually the disease of this material existence. So actually wish actually means wish, W-I-S-H. The poison of this world is the desire of wanting enjoyment in this world. That is the visha. Right? That is why if you see Rupa Goswami, when he speaks of Yukta Vairagya, he says, Anasaktasya Vishayan Yatarham Upayunjataha. What does that mean? That means, सारी विषय वासनाओं को छोड़ दो. तो बोलेंगे प्रभु फिर क्या होगा? नहीं नहीं, सब छोड़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. जो कृष्ण के संबंधित है और जितना चाहिए उतना आप ले सकते. Make nice preparations for lordships and have yatarham upayunjatah. But how much you can digest and not fall sick. So like that, for every gratification there is a plan of action, as Rupa Goswami says. Nirbandha Krishna sambandh hai, yatharham upayunjatah. Both are there. Nirbandha Krishna sambandhe means it should be in sambandha with Krishna, and yatharham upayunjata means just how much it's required to keep body and soul together. And Yukta Ahara Vihara also is there. So within that subject matter, he says, right? So, desires are poison. So he says how? He said, if a snake, if you're thrown into a dungeon of snakes, of cobras and vipers, it is a fearful situation. But that poison of that cobra will only kill one body. But the Vishaya Vasana, if somebody gets a desire, I want to be the minister of Prime in India after Modi. You know, I want to have a Kirti more than somebody who had Kirti. Then how many lifetimes of Punya it will take to first become MLA, then maybe cabinet minister, then maybe chief minister. And this I am talking in different lifetimes, not in one lifetime. So by the time you start getting influence here, karte, you know, Prabhupada mentions, Atul Krishna Prabhu would quote, Prabhupada said Ravi Shankar, when he went to America, Ravi Shankar, the famous sitarist, who plays sitar and the world comes to see, Prabhupada said, he is playing sitar for the 7 lifetimes with the desire to be a world famous person. मतलब 7 जन्म बर्बाद कर दिए. Right? Till now he is not singing for Krishna, I am not sure. He is only playing. So 7 lifetimes. So a desire to become a good sitarist, and I don't know, maybe he is still continuing. And now he may be planning in heaven. Because after you become best in this world, then your next plan is heaven or Asura Loka and then Sura Loka. So like this, every desire will keep us in this world and being tormented by, you know, birth, old age, disease and death. So isn't this more dangerous than killing a body? It is being sentenced to unlimited lives. Actually, as we read, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that when the jiva is in the womb of the mother, upside down, 9 months, he cries, you know, my dear Lord, for all the good service I did to my desires and material energy, the gift of material energy is I am put upside down for 9 months in a closed shell, completely dark, supplied food with a pipe, and the excreta also goes with a pipe or whatever. It's even difficult to imagine being put in that situation. And the jiva cries. He says, "My dear Lord, get me out. Get me out. This life, I will only and only from the first breath of my life, I'll perform devotional service. Because I served Maya and my desires, and this is what happened. So this life, no other program. No other program. Only one program. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. और कोई प्रोग्राम नहीं प्रभु. बट जन्म होइलो पोड़ी माया जाले ना होइलो ज्ञान लावा. It's a beautiful Vaishnava song. Like Govind Goswami was saying that Bhaktivinoda Thakur's one song can be a treatise, like it'll completely be like full philosophy. So the jiva in the womb says, "इस बार प्रभु बाहर ले आओ, only भजन करूंगा और कुछ भी नहीं करूंगा." तो कोई कहेगा, बेटा भजन करेगा तो भोजन कहाँ से आएगा? हाँ, what do they say? With an empty stomach, हाँ, क्या? भूखे पेट भजन नहीं होता है. भजन ना गोपाला. They say, right? So now for this there is explanation in this particular verse, right? The explanation in this verse for this is the Chatur Shloki. I'll just scroll through. Yeah. He says, if a person in his life only makes dedication to hear and chant and follow instructions of Guru and Krishna, what should be our profile? Shravanam, Kirtanam, and Guru Krishna instruction follow, which is Shravanam, Kirtanam. If you do this, what happens? Right? He says, the Supreme Lord becomes pleased. The king gets pleased. And when he gets pleased, what will happen? The devotee will become, because the Lord is peaceful, he will supply for all the activities and the senses of the jiva. Then what he will do? He will make him transcendental to all dualities. And then the jiva will feel transcendental bliss. And in this way, even in this life, the person who does hearing and chanting can peacefully go on. And at the end of life, gracefully go to Krishna. Now he will have a peaceful and graceful life. If you are not a devotee of Krishna, peace is the word you cannot discuss about. He said we can talk about the word peace, P-I-E-C-E. Life has become peace. Right? And grace, nobody dies gracefully. When they die, everybody, अच्छा हुआ मर गया. पकड़ के रखा था. What did they do? Everybody has to die gracefully. Prabhupada, in the Bhagvatam 3rd Canto, Kapila Muni says, if you stay at home more than your old age, Kapila tells Devahuti, you will be treated like a dog in the family. Unwanted. And it's a normal course of action. The moment the eldest son gets married and settled, the first frequency of the wife is, we don't want to be in this association of your parents who are so bothering. Right? So either they move out or they send them out. Because you don't want unwanted, so you become unwanted. And that aspect of being unwanted literally makes the ego like shattered. Right? You cannot exist in a place where people don't want you. You cannot serve. If you feel you're in association and everybody feels you're a botheration, can you be peaceful? Can you serve there? It's only because devotees love us and they want us to be here and they want us to serve. You cannot exist in a place where people don't want you. So Kapila Muni says, you stay home after your old age, he says, you'll be treated like a dog, unwanted, and kept at bay. Kept at bay means bahar. We'll throw some pieces of bread, be satisfied. Don't demand more. Menu ज़्यादा होगा नहीं. एक ही menu होगा वो fixed. उसी में खुश रहो. To be treated like dog, it says. So that's about this world. But if you engage in hearing and chanting, Prabhupada says, the Bhagavatam is saying, and I will also speak from Gita, he says, you will live happily even in this life. Because Krishna will supply. You will transcend from duality. Krishna will give you rasa by hearing his pastimes and having exchanges. तो इस जीवन में भी मजे में रहोगे. And then everybody will come for your funeral. Nice devotee, great devotee. And gracefully you will also be escorted. And Krishna will take you personally with his hand. That's what happens. So if you read the Chatur Shloki Gita, what does it say? It says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante vam buddha bhava samanvita. So the first thing of Chatur Shloki Gita is understand who is the source. And if you understand who is the source, what should you do? Worship him with all your heart. That is the first verse. So if you understand Krishna is the boss, Lord Chaitanya is the boss, what should be our life's dedication? Just serve the boss. And then how do you serve in the association? Machchitta madgata prana bodhayantas parasparam kathayantas cha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. And he says, these people, how do they interact in the association? They are constantly speaking about my affairs, my activities. Twadvirya gaya namahamrita magna chittaha. That's all. And what happens? They keep relishing. They're relishing and relishing. Right? Rupa Goswami says, devotees discussing Krishna Katha, they don't realize time. Just like a boy does not realize time in the association of a young girl. He says, similarly, devotees don't realize time when they discuss about my Virya Gatha. So the first program, recognize the source and give your heart to him. And second, keep talking about, keep gossiping about Krishna. We were talking from Damodar Ashtakam, and he says, in Vrindavan, everybody is busily doing gossip. Gossip is a very fundamental need of the Brajavasi. He's always talking about Krishna. What did he do? He stole in my house. He stole in your house. What did he do today? You sing a song about him. Always. That's what is happening. So, machchitta madgata prana. And then what will happen? You're only busy in hearing and chanting. So what will happen to your future? He says, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. How to come back to me? I will personally guide the devotee from inside. He may be uneducated. He may not know how to make spiritual advancement. He may not know which is the way back to Goloka. Prabhuji, right lena hai, left lena hai. या सीधे जाके राइट लेना या सीधे जाके राइट लेके लेफ्ट लेके राइट लेना. So no problem. I will be his natural GPRS. I will guide him from within. Okay, Prabhuji, you will guide us from within, right? You will guide us from within. But what about my current life? And he says, Tesham evanukampartham aham ajnanatam jnanadipena bharata. He says, to show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their heart, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. Why are we so much hankering and lamenting in this world? Because of a wrong identity. We have wrong needs because of ignorance. The moment you get awakened, then you know that you are actually in a slaughterhouse of Maya, about to be executed because of being a trustworthy servant of Maya. Right? So the moment you awaken, get out, get out of this place. He says, I will give you awakening, so that even in this world you will be out of danger. Right? And if you see the pastimes, whenever the Lord blesses the devotees, He blesses them like, be happy in this life, and then you will come back to my dham, like Nalakuber Manigriv. What does the Lord bless? He says, go to heaven, preach Krishna consciousness, and be happy this life, and afterwards you are coming back to me. The same thing He speaks to the Prachetas. Be happy this life, and then you will come back to me. Now one may say, Prabhuji, if I get so happy in this life, again my intensity, Narada will come at the end. Somebody will come in the end, give some preaching, take you back. So for those who are engaged in hearing and chanting, these 4 verses of Chaturshloki Gita are saying, understand the source, engage in hearing and chanting about the Supreme Lord. The Lord will make arrangements for your transcendental visa, Goloka Vrindavan, and the Lord will make arrangements for bringing you out of ignorance in this life and maintaining you. Right? The responsibility of maintenance of this world is Krishna's. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetanam. Whether you follow me or not. One may say, प्रभु जी अपनी मेहनत नहीं करेंगे, सिर्फ भक्ति करते रहेंगे तो क्या होगा? अरे भाई, मेहनत करने के लिए जो बुद्धि और बल चाहिए, वो क्या तुमने पैदा किया है? वो भी तो भगवान ही देते हैं. Right? Somebody is Brahmanical, somebody is like a Kshatriya, somebody is like a Vaishya, or somebody is a skilled labor. If imagine the Lord did not give ability to maintain, can we maintain? So nobody you will see disqualified. Everyone knows how to work for maintenance. And okay, even if you engage your talent, if Krishna did not give the grains and fruits, will you eat nut and bolt? So who is maintaining everyone? Right? So the Annamaya, Pranamaya Kosh personally will be taken care by Krishna. And your man will be always engaged in hearing and chanting. I said, that's all. Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, Duryodhan spent all their lives for how to be protected and not be defeated, and how to be maintained to the core. What happened to all of them? And all the devotees, Prahlad Maharaj, what about him? He did not even build his muscles. He was only doing Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Pada Sevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam, Sakhyam Atmani Vedanam. Right? So Prabhupada is saying we have a choice. The Jiva is Tatastha. Either you take Ashray of Maya or Ashray of Krishna. This is the only choice we need to make. If we take Ashray of Maya, ulta latka degi. Right? And throughout the life, she will make you struggle for existence. Everybody says, now what is this world? Struggle for existence. And she will give you what your father has put for you in her charge. Make sense? मतलब कोई जमींदार का बच्चा है, लड़का है, तो जमींदार अपने नौकर को बोलता है ना, अपने मैनेजर को बोलता है, मैं जा रहा हूँ परलोक, तो ये जो जायदाद है ये मेरे बेटे के लिए मैं रख रहा हूँ, जब वो बड़ा हो जाएगा तब तुम उसको दे देना. पर ये जो मैनेजर है नहीं बताता कि तुम वारिस हो, और आजीवन तुमको गधे की तरह खटाता है, और फिर वो ही देता है जो पिताजी ने आपके लिए रखा था. तो आप बोलेंगे, अरे मतलब माया दे भी नहीं रही है, जो कृष्ण ने मेरे लिए रखा है उसी को दे रही है खटा के. आई एम गिविंग अप सर्विस, नो मोर जॉब. अरे ऑलरेडी Prabhupada was told, like All the devotees, ये लोग काम नहीं करते, सिर्फ हरे कृष्णा करते हैं. प्रभुपाद जी कहते हैं, बड़े बाप की औलाद काम नहीं करते. भिखारियों के जो बच्चे होते हैं वो काम करते हैं, क्योंकि हम कृष्ण के संतान हैं. तो बिग पीपल्स चिल्ड्रन, if you look around, they are always in Lamborghini, BMW, in the planes everywhere. So well, a devotee is also like that. So you see, if you serve Maya, it is struggle for existence, and she is only going to give you what is already in your quota by making you work all sinful things and make you go on for lifetimes. So any investment in this world is only like suicide, and not normal suicide. 1,000 suicides at a time. So what should a person in this world do? Stop all activities. Stop all activity, because every activity is going to create implication. Only perform devotional service. Find a spiritual master, find devotee association, be guided, and engage in hearing and chanting and engaging in whatever service you are given by in the association. That's all. You will be happy in this life, and gracefully we will all go back to Krishna Loka. That's all. And Lord Chaitanya will personally take care. Mahaprabhu, when he was a little child, we'll just conclude with this aspect, talking about Mahaprabhu and Damodar. When he was a little child, and everybody would chant Hare Krishna. All the ladies would chant Hare Krishna because he would cry. Then what would Mahaprabhu do? He would go to the road and do begging. A little golden child, and he's begging. Give me, bananas, give me sweets, give me sandesh, right? And then he would get it, and then he will go inside, and those who are doing Sankirtan properly, he will give them sweetmeats, sandesh, and everything. What about Krishna? Little Krishna? He said he is Purna Purushottama. So he does not beg anyone. He steals. मेरा ही माल है. Right? तुम लोगों ने रखा है अपने पास. So how does Krishna maintain his devotees? By stealing. He will go house to house, डेरा डालो, butter जो सबसे high quality का है निकालो, and you will see Krishna is not so keen of eating. Krishna is keen in feeding. Right? They will feed. So Sri Chaitanya and Lord Krishna, they are completely focused only in the maintenance of their devotees. Only in having loving exchanges with his devotees. He is Namamishwaram Satchidananda Rupam. But what is he doing? He is only busy being conquered by love of his devotees and maintaining his devotees. That's all. So our Lord, of whose shelter we are taking, he is a very grateful person. And he always wants to have exchanges with his devotees. अपने आदमी को सब खिलाना पिलाना चाहता है, मजे में रखना चाहता है. Right? So we become Krishna's men. Prabhupada is actually giving us an opportunity for the whole world. Give up this nirvishesh shunyavadi and service of Maya and become Krishna conscious. The only program in your life should be hearing and chanting. Your afterlife preparation and your in-life preparation. He says, Krishna says, I will give him the right intelligence, what to do when. And it shall happen. Right? So this is something I little understood, I shared. And there's more to it. There's more to all the other things that the next speaker will speak. Jai Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki, Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.